Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I am super excited to share with you guys today because we are looking at one of my all-time VoicePlay favorites, and this is their cover, If I Were a Rich Man / Girl, featuring Ashley Diane. This was their first cover that they did with Ashley, and it is absolutely incredible. I cannot gush enough about how much creativity went into this arrangement process, but let's save it for the actual analysis itself. I have seen this before. This is not a reaction. This is a musical breakdown and analysis. So if you are not in it for a lot of pausing, this video is not for you. I like to dig deep into the musicality of everything. So without further ado, let's get into it.
If I was a rich man, na 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 na, all day long I'd bitty bitty bum. If I was a wealthy man,
I wouldn't have to work hard. Na 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 na. If I were a bitty bitty rich, idle diddle 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 man.
well I'd build a big.
So right off the bat, we have some pretty interesting stuff happening. We have these kind of like drones, high register drones. Sound like they're coming from voices with a little bit of editing on them. And we start with Jeff leading the song, in a sense, which I think makes sense because the original song was sung by a lower voice and Fiddler on the Roof, If I Were a Rich Man. And he kind of puts his own like pop kind of twist on it, which I also think is really fitting because of different ways the piece is arranged. Like we have like those snaps on the offbeats. Yeah, and like I said, these drones up here kind of like give it a more modern flair with the distortion and editing that's on them. So very cool. Pardon me.
If I was a rich man, na 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 na, all day long I'd bitty bitty bum. If I was a wealthy man,
I wouldn't have to work hard. Na 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 na.
So we get to hear Lane sing. Yeah, it sounds about right. Third octave. I wouldn't have to work hard. Comfortable baritone range. Very nice. We don't get to hear him sing very often. And then we get like this. This high falsetto from the César on an F5. Very cool.
Na 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 na. If I were a bitty bitty rich, idle diddle 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 man.
well I'd build a big.
So all of that intro kind of comes together to create this idea of building momentum. You guys know, if you've been here before, that's something I talk about all the time. Building momentum throughout a piece or through a section of a piece. So very nice. We should just start with the drones and then Jeff, and then we add Lane with the snaps. More sound effects in the background. But here we kind of like break into this drum beat. It's pretty sudden, but it's fitting because it's the start of the kind of like drive of the piece. So let's get into this.
Tall house with rooms by the dozen, right in the middle of the town.
Fine tin roof with real wooden floors below. There would be one long staircase just going up and one even longer going down.
So the amount of times you have to listen through this piece to catch on to everything that's going on in the background is insane. Lane really outdid himself with this arrangement. So let's try to unpack some basic idea of what's happening with these backgrounds here.
With rooms by the dozen.
Okay, let's go back.
Idle diddle 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 man.
well I'd build a big tall house with rooms by the dozen, right in the middle of the town.
Fine tin roof with real wooden floors below.
So we really like painting with these syllables. We take different syllables from the text and sing them out of the rhythm that the melody is singing. So what we have here,
Big tall house with rooms by the dozen, right in the middle of the town.
Fine tin roof with real wooden.
so we had town echoing when Jeff hit the actual town in the melody. So that's something VoicePlay does a lot of the time, and they tend to do it really well. So I found that really awesome.
Floors below.
And as these different singers have these different solos, the hits that we have, the harmonizing hits in the background, take different syllables to kind of, the way I see it is they kind of match the timbre of the vocalist who's singing that line and what they're singing, like the lyrics they're singing. So it's kind of some text painting going on.
Fine tin roof with real wooden floors below. There would be one long
So with the softer voice we get from Cesar, we get the ha ha ha. Not necessarily staccato, and there's a lot of breath in there. There's more breath than there is roundedness of the note or tone. So that's very cool there.
Staircase just going up and one even longer going down.
And two moments where the music follows the text. That's text painting. So Ashley sings one even longer going down. So there's the staircase going up, the staircase going down, and the way she's singing kind of matches that with going up and going down. And you also have Lane doing something with the vocal percussion effects there.
Long staircase just going up and one even longer go.
I'm sorry you guys have to hear me attempt to sing like them. But yeah, so that's very cool as well. The idea of text painting that's going on here.
Going down.
And one more leading nowhere just for sure. Please.
So there's a lot of audio editing going on that's kind of reminiscent of what we would expect to hear in a modernized version of this song. Like as Jeff dips down on this C, that's C2 down there, the reverb increases both on his voice and the background vocals. So that's a music production idea that like kind of embodies the idea of creating a modernized version of the song. And I also wanted to comment on these hits off the beat, these dot 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 that we have going on in the background.
Going down.
And one more leading nowhere just for sure.
One more just for. So it doesn't exactly follow the text he's singing, but we kind of take the key words from that text and make those the hits that we have there. Like it takes. I haven't done much of this, but I'm under the impression that it must take a lot of practice to get that kind of arranging mastered. So this is hats off to Lane right here. I'm 30 seconds in, so I'm going to try to speed along a little bit.
Even longer going down.
And one more leading nowhere just for sure. Please, if I was a rich man, all day long I'd bitty bum. If I was a wealthy man.
So what I really like about this chorus section is the motion that happens in the background, and the one thing that really catches my ears right in the beginning. Here, I'll flag it.
Please, if I was a rich man.
So when they go rich man, that kind of decrescendo in there, I think like without little moments like that, it would be a lot more bland. So I think the way that these backgrounds keep moving and shifting in different ways really adds to the texture of the piece and what we're listening to and keeps us interested. And Lane with the vocal percussion is really adding a lot to the drive and kind of the feel that we're going for here. So a lot of appreciation to Lane for this arrangement and performance.
All day long I'd bitty bum. If I was a wealthy man,
I wouldn't have to work hard. If I were a bitty rich, man.
they would ask.
There's also the clarity on those 16th note runs. We get to hear Ellie sing for a little bit for the first time in the piece as a solo line. But he is the king of riffing, Ellie Jacobson. So those 16th notes we get down there, they're not riffs, obviously. But that kind of technique that allows them to switch between pitches with such clarity and awesomeness, that is really cool.
If I were a bitty rich, man.
They would ask to advise them, like Solomon the Wise. If you please,
Reptavia.
So as we build to this section, we get more of what I was talking about before, with the reverb increasing as the music builds, and this is kind of like paramount to what I'm talking about with like creating a modernized version of this piece. So let's listen through to this.
Reptavia. If I was a rich man, 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 if I was a rich man.
So that section with Cesar doing the solo, down an octave. If I was a rich man. It's completely like if you were to create your own arrangement of Fiddler on the Roof's If I Were a Rich Man, who in their right mind would think to add like a lo-fi hip-hop breakdown section? Like, where does this idea come from? Yeah, it fits so well because we have this kind of like driving soft pop kind of idea going on with the rest of the arrangement. So I'm gonna be honest, this is the first cover VoicePlay released with Cesar as a full-time member, and he didn't do the arrangement, Lane did the arrangement. But when I heard that, I thought Cesar's voice complemented it so well, and since then I've been like so happy that VoicePlay added Cesar to their group. His voice is just the money voice in my eyes. But anyway, yeah, that's my little tangent. Cesar's my favorite ever. I really like the creativity that Lane employed to add this kind of idea of turning this Broadway theater song into a pop song. It's just like everything he does to make that happen is so cool. Like we have those ethereal like that kind of synth going on in the background, and we have Jeff doing the subwoofer with I can't reach the bottom octaves of my keyboard the way I'm laid out, but down to the not gonna try to chest fry that. F2, C2, F1, happening at the same time as those synths. Well, Cesar has the "If I Were a Rich Man," that kind of thing going on. All that together creates just such like a smooth feel to it, and it's so freaking awesome, and I love it.
If you please, Reptavia.
Reptavia, Reptavia, Reptavia. If I was a rich man, 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 na 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 na, all day long, a bitty bitty.
So there's a song called "Rich Girl" by Gwen Stefani. That I went and listened to that song as well before I went to dive into this one, and this section after Cesar's breakdown section kind of nods to that song because the song is inspired by "If I Were a Rich Man." It's just another kind of modernized spin on it. So VoicePlay's arrangement kind of combines the two, or the styles of the two, and this is the nod that we get to "Rich Girl" by Gwen Stefani.
If I was a rich man, if I was a rich man, na 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 na, all day.
That 3-part with the moving 16th is also really impressive, just from a vocal lens. Like the way they articulate, like na, the first two in that 16th note pattern are slurred, and the second one is, I would say, tongued as a wind player. That's not the vocal term for it. The first two are connected, and the second two are not. So that they have three nas in a 4-note pattern that goes na na na, except moving in pitch, and I think that's really difficult to do. So that's another really impressive vocal employment from all of them.
Na, all day long, a bitty bitty bum. If I were a wealthy man, I wouldn't have to work hard. If I were a bitty bitty rich, man.
C5, tenor high C from Ellie.
If I were rich, I'd have the time that I like to sit in the synagogue and pray.
And maybe have a seat by the eastern wall.
And I discuss.
Whoa. Some Phrygian mode there. Which I kind of like that because that's a nod to how a lot of Middle Eastern music you'll hear is written in a Phrygian mode, so that's a cute little nod there.
The holy books with the learned men several hours every day. That would be the sweetest thing of all.
The most important man in town would come to follow me.
Is that a low G? Maybe?
The most important man.
I can't tell if it's a G or A flat, but still super low chest voice.
And in time would come to follow me.
But this is another example of having a voice part kind of deviate from the melodic structure of the piece to echo something that was previously stated off of the rhythm in which it was sung, and it just kind of fortifies the meaning of the text. So that's what Ashley does here. So listen to this.
Several hours every day. That wouldn't be the sweetest thing of all.
The most important man in town would come to follow me.
So it sounded like Ashley was doing it in the upper octave, and Cesar and maybe Ellie were doing it down here. But yeah, that's just kind of like that text. The most important men in town would come to follow me is not part of the original text. So I think like just the ability to take risks and deviate from the original piece is something that I really admire about VoicePlay's arrangements, especially Lane. No discredit to Jeff, but Lane's arrangements tend to go bigger and a lot more strange in a sense. So yeah, let's try to finish this piece a little bit faster.
They would ask to advise them, like Solomon the Wise. If you please, Reptavia, 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 Reptavia.
If I was a rich man, if I was a rich man, if I was a rich man, if I was a
So we get a repetition of that section with actually doing it up an octave. But I think it's really cool how the auto-tune kind of takes more effect on her voice, because you can definitely hear a little bit more of like grace note glissando kind of effect, and I think it sounds a little bit better with her voice than it did with Cesar's. No credit to Cesar. Like I said, he's absolutely my favorite ever, but I think she sells this part a little bit better just because she has the voice that works with the auto-tune a little bit better. So that's just my hot take on this.
if I was a rich man, if I was a rich man, if I was a rich man, if I was a rich girl.
Also, I'm gonna be honest, I never noticed this before, how when Cesar does it, it's blue, and when Ashley does it, it's pink in the background.
Na 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 na. All day long, I'd bitty bitty bomb.
If I were a rich
Buckle up.
What? If I were a rich girl.
It's incredibly hard to riff going up, especially if you're gonna like do those dips like that, like whoa. I can't riff very well. It's not very clean for me, but it's impressive that how she just goes up and then hits that F6. No, it's F5. That F5 with such clarity, like such a good belting register tone, and then goes all the way back down. Yeah, I don't know. That's just so awesome. Like, one of the most badass things I've heard a female voice do. It's just so incredible, and the way it's used to kind of like be the showcase of the song, like the reason we're featuring Ashley as a soloist. It's just so good. It gets me so excited every time I hear her little solo here.
If I was a rich girl, na 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 na. All day long, I'd bitty bitty bomb.
If I were a rich girl.
What? If I were a rich girl. All day long, I'd bitty bitty bomb. If I were
Now we just completely go off the rails with da 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 on that offbeat 16th note pattern.
Lord, who made the lion and the lamb? You decree I should be what I am. Would it spoil some vast eternal plan if I were wealthy?
So that's up to a G4 falsetto. Very cool.
Were wealthy man.
If I were rich, I'd be
and C2 down to, of course, our F1 subharmonic that's held for excessively long. Not excessively. It's really good. It fits with the arrangement well. It's very incredible that he's able to hold it for that long. So we kind of have actually take the mantle for the end of the song, and then Jeff takes the last little snippet back because he had the beginning of the song. Just call back to that. And, of course, Lane makes him display, like, 3 octaves of voice range in those 5 seconds. Very impressive performance from Jeff here. And I really love that flare there we get that calls back to that Middle Eastern section. Let me try to find the pitches here. I promise this will be the last rabbit trail I'll go down. If I were rich. Yeah, using that minor second to call back to the Phrygian, then the background goes. Yeah. Okay, I found it. Thank God. That's just, I don't know, I find that to be just like capping off the reason we want, or the tone we're trying to achieve with this piece. This kind of like modernized like hip hop, maybe like Middle Eastern flair we got going here. It's just so good. Let me play it out to the end for you guys.
If I were a bitty rich, little man.
Okay, that was just for you guys. I cannot, like, obviously, how long has this video been going? Yep, we're over 20 minutes now. And that's okay, because there is just so much to say about the creativity and the sheer force of awesomeness that went into this arrangement from Lane and the performance from all 5 of them. They are all superstars, and I am absolutely in love with this arrangement. It's probably my favorite after Hoist the Colors as of right now. Please go listen to this a few dozen times. That's what I've been doing. But yeah, that's all I have for this video. And I will see you guys in the next one. I got to get through most of VoicePlay's 2022 releases. So that's what we'll be working on next. It's good to have you. Like, subscribe to VoicePlay. That's all. I'll see you next time.